Welcome, welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and more. My name is Nancy. Um, Today I'm here to perform, I guess, just an Aquarius rant. Um, I've been doing a lot of meditating and contemplating about how to deliver or like follow through on a message. Hi, 1-2, how are you? Ah, and so I was like, everything that is taking place now, I talked about in intricate details over the last 4 years. Now, I didn't know the catastrophe that the world would be facing. I didn't know the exact catastrophe. I thought maybe it would be some type of extreme or broad natural disaster or something. I always say I never could have imagined it would have been a pandemic. So I haven't been making a lot of videos because I'm to the point actually that I don't even know if it's worth me making videos anymore. As my channel progressed over the last 5 or so years, I fell off. Viewership fell down to where it was when I first began. But you know, I don't know the influence that I may have had here on YouTube or not. But I know the subject matters that I covered and I covered in detail gained a lot of momentum soon after I talked about it. So over the last week or so, there have been subject matters that I wanted to recap on or bring up. And so I've been procrastinating because of those, you know, the past experiences I've had. And what I've noticed is that the subject matters that I want to cover or recap upon are very, very popular now. So that leads me now to believe that another level of awakening has occurred for people, especially certain races. And when I say certain races, I'm sure it's occurring in a lot of different races, nationalities. But I'm talking about particularly the black community. As you can see, I'm black, no surprise. The black community. And I say that, I don't even know if it's making sense. That's why this is an Aquarius rant. When I become overwhelmed emotionally and with information, it just gets all jumbled up and all I can do is a rant. But while I'm setting up to start this live, I was going to start it at 11 because I know there's a lot of people on now live. It's popping up on my screen everywhere that people's live. I say, well, I'm going to wait till 11 o'clock, maybe, you know, the streaming, what do you call it, traffic may have slowed down. But I was like, I'm not going to wait to go live because what I'm noticing is happening is, again, the subject matters that I'm talking about are what's popular. That's what is trending. So I can't say that I covered this information and then, you know, it got popular. No, before I can get started every day, people covering it now. So that lets me know there is an awakening. It also lets me know or gives me an idea to why we are going through what we're going through on a global level as far as the pandemic. I think all this stuff is systematic, a systematic plan. I really do. Anyway, one of the notifications that I received showed that a creator here on YouTube was live. Now I just got the notification. When I go to his channel, he's been live for 55 minutes. So I go back and start watching his live earlier part of his live, and the creator name is New Breed. And so New Breed was sharing I guess a lecture or speech that I think his name is Louis Farrakhan gave, I guess today. I don't know. And what Louis Farrakhan was talking about was exactly what I'm on. We are awake, and the powers that be had to have known that we were going to be awake at this time. And because they knew it, they put a plan in action to like hinder us from awakening and making the changes that we need. Now, it's okay for us to awaken, but what they don't want are for the people to make the changes needed in order to balance our world. You know, balance humanity. They don't want that, especially for certain races. With a primary focus on the African American community, I'll say, or black folks. I'm one. There's no shock there, is it? And so what was Louis Farrakhan talking about? He was calling for professional scientists to come, you know, together. I don't know, epidemiologists, just naming all these people that have, you know, advanced in their studies, to come together in order to work together, of course, to find out an answer to our pending problem, which is the pandemic, as well as, you know, other issues that I think we face as well. I didn't finish watching it all the way through. I couldn't. I said I gotta go live now. I always feel like I'm being washed away. Like Monique, the comedian Monique, being washed away. And I've talked about that before too. And it has to do with in you know, in respect to not being a representative of the socially acceptable. I, like Monique, we're women, then we're fat, and then we're black. So we kind of be washed away or ignored, or I can give a whole list of things that a person that doesn't fit the norm suffers. So it's, I mean, it's different profiles that are not acknowledged in our world. So anyway, what excited me so when I heard Farrakhan calling on the black professionals, it's this, and this was crazy because last weekend, yeah, last Sunday, because it stormed. Last Sunday I'm pulling up my calendar. Last Sunday, if it comes up, oh, now my computer gonna go out again. Okay. Last Sunday was the 19th of July. On that day, my family and I, we got together. We had scheduled to go to Henry Ford Museum. If you follow me, you know I live in Detroit, and Henry Ford Museum is in Dearborn, the next city over. And so we got together as a family, and we went to Henry Ford Museum. Include my little granddaughter. That was really for her entertainment and stuff like that, and her educational purposes. You know, I had been there and done that. But while I was there was one thing that captivated me. And it was this here. I'm going to show you the name of this painting. I don't want to show the image because I couldn't find many images of this painting online. I couldn't find something that was like royalty free. But this is the name of a picture that was in the hallways of the Henry Ford Museum. And the picture, the name of the painting, as you can see, is Lights Golden Jubilee by Ivan Bacon, which was painted in 1945. And so I want to talk about this painting for a minute, because this aligns with what Louis Farrakhan is attempting to call into existence, which is the coming together or the gathering of educated black minds in order to solve a problem on behalf of the black community. Let me see. Hey George, sorry it took so long. Oh, I'm just happy you're here. Thank you for dropping by. I got a whole Aquarius Rant, y'all. It wasn't going to be a rant. I was going to cover these different subject matters. Again, some of them are recapping on things that I've covered in the past. Other things were other subject matters I wanted to talk about that's relative. But every time I got here on YouTube, somebody else was talking about it. So I said, why should I? And so I decided I'm going to share it from, the information from my perspective and from my life experiences, because it has a unique twist, I do believe. So anyway, let me get back to this painting. What is this painting? What does it look like? What is it? The subject matter. The subject matter is, how can I say that? In 1929, Henry Ford and his wife threw a banquet. The banquet was to honor the accomplishments and contributions of Thomas Edison. And so the painting, Henry Ford chose to have the painting created in order to commemorate the event. Even though photography was out, he didn't want photography because it made, old cameras made too much smoke and all that kind of stuff. So he hired Mr. Bacon to commemorate this event. Now, the guest list to this event, called the Lights Golden Jubilee, which is a banquet in honor of what? Thomas Edison, right? Had over 200 and, where's my phone? I think it's 262. The 262 guests over that. Only the artist, Mr. Bacon, was only able to fit 262 of the guests into the portrait. I want to talk about this portrait a little more because it's so significant. And it also ties into what Louis Farrakhan is now doing, calling in what? Professional blacks to come up with a solution to the problem that we are currently facing relative to the pandemic, and I'm sure so much more. It should have been in progress a long time ago. I'm just a mundane person, and I already knew that, but okay. But I'm dismissed. Okay. Anywho, this painting. The artist, of course, had to be present in order to create an outline of the composition, of the seating arrangements and the decor and everything. You know that. He also, over time, had to acquire a photo of each of these guests. One of the things I noticed about the painting when I was there, well, I'll say this. I noticed something very interesting about the painting when I was there as I took my phone to take pictures of it. My phone recognized that each of these guests had a unique face. Our phones are designed to focus on the face in order to get a clear shot. And the only way this camera could have done that to all of these guests at one time was to recognize that the faces were real. So it was like even though the painting is, I don't have the dimensions, but it's not a big painting, or it's not a large canvas. It's not such a large canvas that the portraits of each of these guests should be noticeable, I guess I can say. Noticeable. Identifiable. But this Mr. Bacon must have been the top artist of a time period, because he was able to create a self-portrait of each of these guests sitting in the room, based on what he saw during real time, plus referring to any photo they may have had, already taken. He was able to use it. Maybe he took, I don't know, individual sketches or photos. I don't know how he did it, but he's such a master that the 262 people that he represented in this portrait, or this painting that I'm speaking about, which is in oil, that's a whole nother thing. he was able to capture a realistic appearance of it. I thought that was so interesting, and I'll try to make it make sense why I thought that was so interesting. Okay. What's so significant about this painting? Why am I really talking about it? Why am I referring you to it, asking you to take a look at it? It is because, as mentioned, this the event that's being commemorated in this painting is an a tribute, I guess I can say, to Thomas Edison and his contribution to the science world and all that kind of stuff, science and technology. And the host and hostess is Mr. Ford and Mrs. Ethel Ford, I guess it was, Ethel Ford, or the Fords. Henry Ford, automobile owners. I think y'all know that, but I'm just saying. Okay, so what I did after taking the picture of the painting, there was also an outline of the same picture, and it was number coordinated to each guest. And so they gave a listing of the guests that were at the banquet, which I already knew what it was. So I already knew what I was going to do with these images. So I came home and I began to go down the list of the 262 people that were present during this banquet. And each person played an influential role in society. The people that sat in that banquet hall that day were the creme de la creme. It was everything from past presidents to current presidents. It was everything from scientists, chemical engineers, machinists, top of the line machinists, or what do they call them? I should have wrote down a list of their skills and talents. They had senators and different government officials and representatives. They had various what do they call it, military officials present, like colonels and different things like that. And as I just reflected on gaze upon the picture, because I keep looking at it. I go on Google and I pull up the picture and I keep looking at it. I realized, and I had already known this, but it just became so real to me. The primary reason, there's two reasons, but the primary reason that black people, I'll say, because I also want to say African American, but black people, the reason why our culture is not advancing or being successful is because we don't collaborate. No, let me stop. It's because we're not well educated. Enough of us are not well educated. The next thing is that those that do have educated themselves, they have become masters, skillful in some area of knowledge, that they come together, they do their independent works, and then they come together. Oh, I see you, YouTube. You want to tear my video up as usual. They come together and they collaborate in order for a purpose. As mentioned, that particular banquet was in honor of Thomas Edison. But I am positive, based on the guest list, they achieved so much more. One of the guests that was at the banquet, I don't know his name off rip, but his field of study and expertise was in the same field that I engage in. And it was the field or study of, what was it called? Existence. Oh God, it was something, it was about existence. Oh, I thought I'd never forget. Existence. It talked about God. His studies was under God, existence, spirituality, but it was the terminology that was used to define his field of expertise and what he brought to the table to his colleagues. And it was really important. Wow, I can't think of, I gotta go back through those notes. I set them over there because it was, oh my God, something experience. Of existence. The structure of existence. The structure of existence, God and spirituality is what he dealt with. That was his field of expertise. He studied for the majority of his life. You know, and this was another thing. I'll just stop on talking about him. He studied the structure of existence, God, and spirituality. And that is what he brought to the table to those military personnels, Henry Ford himself, Chrysler, all the senators and judges and all these professional Caucasian people. That, I have to say this, that all of them came or have generational wealth. For each guest that I was able to research, I went back as far as I could in their history, in their genealogy. And each one of them were descendants of generational wealth. Generational wealth. They kept it in the family. Each one of them kept it in the family. How can I say it? There has been no shift. This is just an Aquarius Rant, y'all. Just sharing. There's been no shift in business owners, I'll say. Not when we start talking about corporate, big national and international works. There has been no change for hundreds of years. For hundreds of years. They have locked and keyed every, what do they call it? Not corporate. This is the word. Every, oh gosh, I should have known this word from when I did the social engineering. What are y'all doing? Oh, you arguing with the cat? Oh, because I'm live. I can't remember the word I want to use. But all industries that have helped us develop our reality, they got it under lock and key. In the 1930s, when the Great Depression happened, that was these people's, oh man, it goes so deep. That's a whole nother video. I'll be hours talking about it. Had their hands in the Holocaust, Hitler, all the presidents. They had the legal system tied down, the journalistic journalism field tied down. We hear these things. And I don't think we get the gist of what's being said to us. When why am I talking about this? I'm talking about how they got everything locked down. And in the 1930s, when that Great Depression happened, it was those powers that be that intentionally executed the circumstances and situations that were designed to occur in order to create the period of the Great Depression. And it was all in order for them to ensure their generational wealth and power and influence, etc., etc. I don't want to get lost into that. I just wanted to refer you to this painting so that you can see for yourself, if you want to, why people are not being prosperous, why they're not being wealthy. It's locked in to certain families. and it's been there for hundreds of years. And now what we're going through, it's another move, just like during the 1930s, to ensure the longevity of their success, their prosperity, their social influence, their political pool, etc., that they maintain control of any advancements or research done, and or advancements in technology. That's why. That's why. The African American, black folks, the reason why we're not striving is because we don't have enough brilliant minds. Well, we might have enough brilliant minds, but they won't come together. Don't want to come together. And this was Louis Farrakhan was saying that brilliant black minds have to come together in order to work together. What the brilliant black minds are missing is that they don't have the generational wealth to back them. That's why they're afraid to do so. That's why they are afraid to step out. So much to talk about. I want to salute Nick Cannon, talking about the current events and everything. I want to salute Nick Cannon for sharing the information he had, the history, historical information relative to some black folks. I'm going to say it like that because I don't know all the fine details. And I salute him because this is a man who has gained a level of riches for himself, and he's jeopardizing those riches in doing so. This system will destroy him and his wealth and any a hope of a legacy that he has built up for himself if people, black, white, and whomever, don't back him. But it's not just him, y'all. If you really look at what's been taking place, at least over the last 10 years, the system has been destroying black people for trying to speak up and execute their quote-unquote freedom of speech. Monique, everybody forgot about Monique. Even though she wasn't talking about, I think Nick Cannon was talking about, what is it? I can't think of the nationality that he was really referring to. But Monique was still talking about being a black woman here in America. And we dismissed her. I live here in Detroit. One minute, people were excited that we had another black mayor, Kwame Kilpatrick. He young, he cool, he educated. But as soon as the system set him up, black people, y'all turned, we turned our back on him. I would say we, I'm a part. I didn't do that, but I didn't have any power alone. We turned our back on him. And we didn't look at the details surrounding the works that he had done in the time that he was in office. And nobody seems to see that once Kwame was removed from office, how Detroit has been sold off, that the Caucasian race has been able to come in and seize control of the whole city and invest their money here and build it up. Kwame was the first one. Detroit was a ghost town at one time. It was nothing here. When he took office, Detroit started to be revitalized, slowly but surely. They want to come. Hold on, y'all. I gotta say this, and I'm gonna move on from here. This is an Aquarius Rant. I'm getting upset. One of the charges I do believe that Kwame Kilpatrick faced here in Detroit, or complaints, was about him giving contracts to his family, his relatives, or something like that. He was keeping it in the family. Now, mind you, if you go research the people here, as well as the lineage they come from, each and every one thus far that I've researched, they kept it in the family. This was the same thing. One of the main complaints they had against Kwame Kilpatrick, they helped them get him out of office. But if you research any of these folks that sit in seats of power, they kept it in the family. Not for, Kwame was in office, how many years? Maybe 4 years or something? I don't know. they have kept it in their families for hundreds of years. And I'm talking about much more influential seats of power. I'm talking about judges, Supreme Court judges, kept it in the family. How can you hand down a Supreme Court judge's seat, or a Senate seat, or a House of Representatives seat? How can you hand down the power to, what else? It was just amazing. All of the sign, they even handed it down. I gotta talk about legacy, y'all. I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm about to read the chat because I'm getting upset. I am getting upset. I've been walking around here cussing and fussing for a while now. Let me read the chat. Okay, I got to talk about talking with the ancestors. I want to read the chat, but I forget where I was going. Interacting and talking with the ancestors is where I'm going. I'm all out of order. Aquarius Rant. How do I get up here? I don't even know how to get up here. Okay, right here. I'm going back up, George. You say, I took your advice. Me and my business partner, I'm keeping in communication with each other more often. That's a good thing. Do you realize Haiti is still paying France for slavery uprising of 1804? No, I did not. That is insane. Oh, wow. Let's not forget the Berlin Conference. And the Berlin Conference that you're talking about, in my research, I do believe, my notes over there, that they some of the guests on that were at this function were also a part of that Berlin Conference, if I'm not mistaken. It was something when every European country was slicing up Africa like a cake. Sealy Rhodes was the head of that, a real racist. I'm gonna look and see if I see Silly Rhodes. See, I don't know if it seemed like I read something, because I was like, oh, I don't want to get up and get them notes. I was like, oh man, I was like, what was they doing there? You know, how can you be at this function honoring Thomas Edison, but you over here in this other part of the country? No, was it Berlin? No. It was the rape of Belgium, I think. I can't remember. The rape of something. I don't want to Google it because my oh gosh, I'm gonna look later and see if that person was one of them. Okay. Do you realize Africans cannot own a business in China? Wow, but the Chinese can have businesses in Africa. Yeah, when I was doing some other research, I'd be overwhelmed, y'all. I was doing some other research, George, and what I did see, this was about a month or so ago, maybe two, I'm losing track of time, that China has like invested money over in Africa, like along the waterways or something, like building, I don't know, ports or something. So China owns these ports. Now, any person with common sense knows ports are a primary avenue to make money, and of course this is what stop Nancy thing, import exports, you know. And so they own all of these ports. It was something else. And so it almost seems to me that they have China hands tied behind their back, so to say, as far as having to be loyal to China. You know, having to, because of financial economics, you know. It almost seems like, I can't remember what it was. Whatever it is China invested in Africa would help promote economic flow and growth in Africa, but they're very strategic areas. But it also leaves it was, I guess, certain countries that, you know, where these different ports or whatever else it was that they invested there, in what they call it, indebted to China. Again, it's almost seeing like buying their loyalty, to me, their loyalty being bought. Let's say the first welfare program, or what Roosevelt called the Great Society was for poor white people, not for blacks. I think it was for poor people. Yeah, I don't know if that's the exact reality, but it was for the poor, and possibly because I know as far as black people, the first quote unquote welfare was black folks sustaining themselves out of slavery. You know, they were taking care of each other, feet like I don't know, Elijah Muhammad, you know, have his people, was they Muslims or something? Forgive me, y'all, if I say something wrong, because I don't be knowing the details of this. I'm an Aquarius. You know, we airheaded, we taking a lot of information, but we don't, it'll be all mixed up. This is a true Aquarius rant. That he has tried to have these people be self-sufficient. If they got to get on the side of the road and sell grapes and newspapers, it's about being self-sufficient. And so that was the first black or African American welfare system. If they, you know, they tried to label it as, but they were being self-sufficient, helping each other, you know, patronizing each other, supporting each other, those kind of things. And so I could imagine, I know that the government came and took that over in the African American communities, and probably meshed it together with what you're saying. Don't let me get into redlining or blockbusting. Oh yeah, you need to check out Tariq Nashad and Cindy G. You know, I heard that name before. Somebody say that name, Cindy G. I think I've seen that something. I gotta look back. KEKC, keep talking, Nancy. You're great. Thank you so much for the vote of confidence. I need it. I be tongue tied. Keep doing videos even for 5. Even for 5 is worth it. Okay. I'm trying, as you see, I'm on here because I got some stuff I want to cover for yourself and for those you have helped awaken. I'm gonna keep that in mind. It's not the quantity. It's not the quantity. I just hate being ignored. I'm a Leo ascent. I hate being ignored. I must be acknowledged. Okay. Europe is using Haiti as an example. What happens if black people revolt against the system? Remember, they have to pay France every year for the slave revolt. You know what? That's one of the things, revolting, no matter in what country, revolting, the people, the 99% revolting. Chances are, oh man, so much to talk about. It's a high probability that people will revolt, you know, in different areas. But the chances of the revolt being successful is little to none. And I say that because the powers that be, and I've talked about this on my channel before, have harvested, this is what people are missing, they have harvested all of the natural resources in the world. I'm about to start on here because I'm talking about stuff. I'm going to read this because y'all know if I've been working on this for a while, you know, going into my little meditation and contemplative stages, and then come back weeks later, it'd be a mess. So I'm just gonna try to read. I'm gonna try. Can you imagine Haiti has to pay France? That's like Israel having to pay Germany. An insult? Is that what it would be? I'm not the best historian. Okay, I'm gonna read, y'all. Last time I read it was not great. I'm about to read, y'all. The progressive astrological energies surround the theme of, what am I saying? As the stars move, they tell a story, right? Well, the energies surround or point us to, or to acknowledge or announce to us that there is a theme. And the theme is, what's going on around us is enhanced social engineering is in progress. Advanced social engineering is in progress. Now, this is going to be a mess. So this is an Aquarius rant. I should have been drunk doing it. At least I had an excuse. But, oh my gosh. going to say something. I don't forget that damn long quick. I should have went and got me something to sip on. What time is it? Still early, I guess. Oh, I didn't talk about dealing with the ancestors. So before I do that, I want to talk about, remember earlier in this live stream, I was saying every time I turn on YouTube in the last couple of weeks, what I'm contemplating is what people are already talking about. I'm like, I run in the beginning. I was running real early. I realized my predictions, my intuitive messages were running 2 and 3 years early. Now, so no, you know, by the time when people saw me, by the time things started unfolding or making sense, and my brother used to always tell me that. It was like, Nancy, everything you do, and I'm an Aquarius, so I guess I'm, what they call it, light years ahead. Everything you do, he said, you need to sit down and just hold on to your stuff. And he wasn't talking about this, he was talking about some other stuff in my life. A year, at least a year. He said, you way too far ahead. You know, and so after this experience here on YouTube, I realized it. I say I'm way too far ahead. But now, what I'm saying now, it almost seems like I'm far behind. I don't know. I'm not far behind. I'm on time now. I don't know. So anyway, one of the things I got on YouTube and heard someone speaking about, still the subject matter that they were dealing with has to do with our current events. Everybody deals with our current events in different ways. They're attacking it from different angles. And so this person was talking about how do the people attack our current events or deal with our current events. The creator that I heard was speaking about dealing with our current events and moving through these unfolding experiences by, you know, dependence on God. Another thing they were saying is, you know, getting in touch with their ancestors, our ancestors. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. And I've talked a little bit about each of those things on my channel. So again, like I said, I'll be reiterating or recapping on videos that's a couple of years old. God. Since we're faced with the threats that we're faced with, these invisible threats, the pandemic, and the stresses associated with being quarantined, and the stresses associated with wondering if you're going to have enough to buy food and pay your rent and pay your car note, the stressors. Many people may feel, what's they use in church? Weak. Wheel. You know, your wheel gone, you weak. I can't think of the term the church used. Like you can't go no more. You can't take no more, you know. And people say you got to depend on God. That is somewhat a true statement. But I don't believe the statement, you know, trust on God, call on God, lean on God, is like the Christian Baptist church I belong to, how it conveyed it to us. Is it conveyed, or what's what I'm looking for? I think it's conveyed it to us to mean get on your hands and knees and pray. You know, believe in God to drop a miracle when you need it. That's how the church suggested that what that meant. I'm not saying I have not seen miracles in my life, and I can't say I haven't seen prayers answered, but because I have. But when we start talking about believing in God and praying and stuff like that, you got to remember that the God of this realm, whomever that may be, designed this, I always call it self-contained ecosystem. And everything is interlinked. including us humans. We are sophisticatedly designed. And a part of our design is to have intelligence. Going back and referring to what I think Minister Farrakhan was talking about, and what I'm talking about here about how brilliant minds come together. God. If you want to lean on God, is what I'm trying to say. If you want to lean on God for strength, how can I say this? You are doing so when you have used your physical vessel to master yourself in this physical world. God let you know, hey, I created this self-contained ecosystem. Learn the intricate details to it in and out. That's what all these guests did. They became proficient in at least one area that had to do with this physical world. That's leaning on God. And it's taking your time and your energy not to be out doing some buffoonery, which you're going to talk about later. It's not about doing buffoonery and acting a fool and being all in love till you can't do nothing for yourself. No, it says go out here, or in your, in your private time, as your hobby, as your interest, you mastering yourself. So you're going to be working like in labs. That's what it means to lean upon God. God gave you intelligence to grow. And grow your intelligence. That's what leaning on God means. He gave you something. Tap into it. Tap into your mind and your intellect and learn how to control it, perceive, comprehend. All those things is being one with the Creator. Okay. I was also seeing that this person talked about working with the ancestors, building altars. Come on now. We got to get grown up about this thing here. Working with the ancestors. Back to this painting here. In each of these guests here. Remember, there were 262 guests depicted in this painting. There has been a dozen or so people that I have researched. Not only did I research a dozen or more of these guests, I went back in their genealogy. I think it's the word. And these people, the ones that I researched, they were working with their ancestors. Let me give you an example. I'll use the Fords. As the Fords built their industry, they took a lot of notes. They did a lot of designs. They worked with a lot of people. A part of their legacy were those designs for engines and car designs. When they got old and tired or died, they had already prepped their kids to be ready. And part of that legacy that they gave was all those designs. Another character that has become popular in our culture now is Tesla. When I was younger, I never heard of Tesla. Now I done went through every level of school. I ain't never heard of Tesla until within the last 10 years. But okay. Tesla. If you listen to the story of Tesla, it talks about Tesla, I'll say personal archives, I guess I can call them. I don't know, I don't always have the words. Personal archives, everything that he ever designed, sketched, found, that he got information on from the other Rams. He wrote it down, he sketched it, just like Leonardo da Vinci did. They had archives for themselves, or files for themselves. When Tesla died, they said that his files, his personal archives, came up missing. And then who took off after that? Was it Edison or something? I don't know the whole story. But I'm talking about all of that work, all of that research, all of them trials, etc., is the legacy that a person hands down to their children. I hope it makes sense. Many black people don't have a legacy to hand down to their children. I'm not talking about a legacy of money. I'm talking about a legacy of designs, of concepts. You know what I'm saying? You already did the work. When your next generation look at it, be like, oh yeah, I remember when Pops had that light burning there. Yep, that's how he did it. Let me take this a step further. Most of us don't have it. The money that people acquire from their designs is, I mean, it's a part of the legacy or funding to do what? Get the bigger ideas off. Bigger ideas off the ground. And so why am I talking about that? Remember, I'm talking about working with the ancestors. It's not about building altars. That's nice decor. A place to meditate, to calm down, and to reflect. You can reflect on your family history if you're working with the ancestors about their behavior and things that gave them shortcomings and or how they overcame something. You can look at your past, your genealogy to see where health issues came in, so where you can see where you can make yourself strong. You know what I'm saying? Like my family, heart disease ran in my family. What can I do based on our current knowledge base to make sure, to ensure that I myself don't have heart disease? And then you pass that information down to your children. Those are legacy. That's working with the ancestors. Those archives or those files to designs and concepts and discoveries. That is working with the ancestors, and you supposed to build upon it, have it benefit you, not only you, but society at large. And then when you too old to carry it on, to do the work or the research anymore, you pass it down to your kids. In the black culture, we are consumed. We are consumed with our passions and our desires. We in love. I was in love too. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. No. I looked at these people here that were present at this gala, this banquet. It wasn't about love. It was about advancements. It was about discovery, science, technology, and other stuff. Advancements. And it was about science, technology, something, advancements. I don't care if it was in mathematics, discovery, it was advancements. And it was about holding on. This is another thing. Holding on to what you develop. How can I say? It was something. Passing it on. It was something else. I'm about to say. I get the fussing and get so passionate. It wasn't about love for them, is what I was going to say. It wasn't about love. It wasn't about, let me stop. Oh my God. I have so much I want to talk about, and I'm so long-winded, and my videos be so long. Oh my God. People, especially my people, black people, we are, again, preoccupied. We are consumed with materialism. The wrong side of materialism, and I keep trying to talk about it. It's the wrong side. As I stated last Sunday, me and my family went to Ford Museum. The Ford family has in their, please don't ask me. Oh, too much. Too much. A part of their legacy. Their legacy is what is called it? Extensive. I guess their legacy. What do you call it? I guess the legacy is extensive. I mean, they got houses, mansions. They have another mansion out. I can't remember what area. Off of 494. I can't even think of the area. I've been to that mansion. Don't nobody live there. That mansion is fully. It's another. Now it's a museum, but it was once their home. And so I done walked through this home on a tour, and I see all the tapestries and the fine china, and I mean, they have enjoyed the treasures in this world, and they've had such an abundance that they have been able to walk away from one home to another, and leave the other home, the home they done walked away, what I'm trying to say, fully furnished, functioning with the best and everything, in order for it to, I guess, kind of manage itself or support itself. It's a touring site now. So they get the money from the touring. I'm sure they've kind of paid maids or whatever else they got going on, security, the lights, I guess, So I mean, it's fully functioning, the whole estate, fully functioning. The little I saw when I went on the tour, this was some years ago, their daughter's little playhouse. House was almost as big as mine. It was the daughter's playhouse. It was little, but it was big enough for us to walk, for me to walk in, multiple guests to walk in at the same time. I'm just talking about how they really did. How can I say? Enjoyed it again. The treasures of this world. They lived abundantly and lasciviously. They did. So I'm not saying they don't have a level of materialism, but before the mundane materialism, I guess I could say, it is this understanding about what real wealth is that they have. That many people don't have. Not just black people, but us too. Really not understanding what real wealth is. I got multiple videos talking about real wealth and becoming conscious about what real wealth is before you really go broke. How can you really go broke? Well, we all facing it now. Without no jobs to buy food, seeds, the water contaminated. That's your wealth. Your wealth is your health. Your wealth is your food, all your natural resources, anything that sustains your life. Any technological advancements that can be made to enhance your life, to help life be easier. That's wealth. The Fords and people like them know that. They are of like minds. They knew if they pooled their skills and talents, they could manipulate this world in their favor. They did. They are all the magicians. And that power of the magician has been handed down as a part of their legacy to their descendants. And so please refer to this picture. I'm going to let it go. Y'all, I'm about to start reading. So anyway, what was I just ranting about? I'm talking about, hey, if you're going to deal with the ancestors, deal with them for real. Deal with them as far as becoming conscious of what they call it, biological. Now, is it biological? Your biology as far as health and different things with that, like that. If you're going to deal with the ancestors, deal with them for real. Tap into what they were able to master in this physical world. You take it a step further. Otherwise, you're not dealing with the ancestors. My mother, God rest her soul. Hey, Dr. Princess, I'm working with the ancestors when I work with my mama. When I talked about me having to fight that lawsuit, and I done fought about 4 of them different types. I was like, Lord, I done set up, and I have represented myself in, I think, like 4 different cases. It was 4 or 5, and they were all different, what do you call it, areas of law. Everything from tort law. Was tort law I did. That's a whole nother video because I have to go think about everything I went through. So I done went through, and but the only reason I was able to do that because I tapped into the ancestor. What ancestor? My mom. I do taxes. How I do it? I didn't go take no classes. I tapped into the ancestors. My mom. She left me that. The ability to, like I told you, my cousins and stuff, my whole family invested in me big. I didn't meet their, expectations, but they invested in me big. So because they kept making me read, I'm the most horrible reader. Y'all know that. But my family, imagine if my family hadn't forced me to read. You think I can't read now? But because of them, I can read. Because of them, I can comprehend. Because of my mom, I can do taxes. Because of my mom, I can stand in the law, court of law and defend myself in different, I can't believe it, branches of law. I've dealt with multiple branches of law. And it's a whole lot of other things that I'm capable of doing. I have, I ain't gonna start cussing about my culture, but for the most part, I've been by myself, and then I've been able to maintain myself and my family in the highest of integrity without committing crimes because of my ancestors and being able to refer to what they did here in this world. I have been able to refer back to my ancestors as far as I can reach, as far as my lineage and my genealogy, and know what we're susceptible to as far as health issues and things like that. I know what to look for. Will it help me live longer? It may or may not, because I'm sinful. I'm sinful. You know, I know what cracked us and broke us down, but I'm still sinful. But I'm saying I still access that knowledge. Working with the ancestors. That was me just ranting. Okay, now, how long I've been on here? Oh, only an hour? Oh, is that all? Is that all? Okay, what y'all talking about? Okay. Do you know every 10 years they have to vote in the Voting Rights Act and Civil Rights Bill? Every 10 years, so that shows you that black people are not really citizens of this country. But my daughter asked me just the other day, was it yesterday? Mama, are we going to vote? And if we're going to vote, who we going to vote for? And I was like, for the first time, I'm just like, coming up empty. Coming up empty. I'm overwhelmed, y'all. And I know, and I'm going to talk about being socially engineered. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed because in times past, when it came to voting, I would get all of the candidates and I would research as much as I could about them. Black community, I need y'all help. I need y'all help. I mean, really. Like, back to the painting that I was referring y'all to take a look at. That appear in the painting. It's the same concept to me when it comes to politics, especially where the black community in the inner city is, as far as their consciousness. And I'm not talking about spiritual consciousness, I'm talking about physical consciousness of this physical world, the construct of government. You know, I went to school and I remember sitting there and talking about the houses and the Senate and the Congress and it really went over my head. I heard it, but I didn't comprehend it. It took many years for me to get any comprehension of what I was being taught. And so what do I call that when you person is oh god, I can't think of that term for it. I forgot. I'm retarded. Nah, I can't think. I almost had it. I don't think of it. But anyway, dang, I can't think of that term. Well, anyway, I'm stalemate. No, what's the word? Oh God, let it go. Let it go. Dang, it's on the end of my tongue. Y'all experiencing when it's on the end of your tongue. That's how y'all look like. Wait, I see it. Almost in it. Anyway, took a long time for me to comprehend what I was being taught and why. And I believe it keep trying to come. Oh my God. Okay, I believe that a lot of people are where I am. Don't just try to say it another way. Or even worse off than I am when it has to do with government and politics and everything. And so voting consciously or knowledgeably is difficult. In order to make a conscious vote, you got to know the candidates. You got to know their history. You got to know where they're coming from. Do you know how overwhelming it is? That's why I brought up that painting. To research a person's life and have to go, because you don't know and they 60, 70 years old. You got to go back over their whole history, their whole political platform, their whole beliefs. You got to follow, you know, if they didn't change their platforms or their viewpoints, that you got to change all that. And you got to make sense of it to really make a conscious vote. How can you? How can you? Alone. That's alone. Those people in that painting, they were never alone. They were brilliant minds that sat together and figured out what they was going to do about anything in their reality. And here I sit alone. My kids depending on me to help, if you know, this election, upcoming election, make sense to them. You know, help them decide who to vote for. But I'm lost. I'm so lost. I'm telling you, I done fell off. I started researching. My brain was cracking. My eyes, I was partially blind. I couldn't see no more. So I get here on YouTube and I listen, you know, some of the more intellectual folks on here on YouTube. And nobody really promote anybody, you know. But this is my fear based on my understanding, is that it only take one person to vote. You know, it only take one to vote. So if I'm saying, if nobody votes, it only take one person to vote, and whoever votes determines who run office. So I got to figure out a way. I got to figure out something, because I'm just overwhelmed. Anyway, I've been all over the place, y'all. I'm gonna read this chat and then start reading this. Hopefully it making some sense. Hi, Yanni. I didn't see you there. You said Farrakhan dismissed Dr. Sebi, so it's hard to believe he's sincere. And see, that's an issue that I have too, Yanni. You brought up something else. Hopefully you saw the recommendation that I have submitted to you, ladies and gentlemen. It was a painting by, what's his name? Something Bacon. Called The Lights Something Jubilee. You can rewind this video. I'm old. Go back in this video to see that title of that painting. All of those professionals, all of those brilliant minds sitting in that banquet hall that evening in 1929, I realized as I was researching them, some of them were I don't know, some were Republicans, some were Democrats, some were for Nazi Germany, and some were not. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have the same viewpoints. Some were were philanthropists, and others were not. So they did not have the same viewpoints. All the 262 plus guests, these brilliant minds, all of them did not have the same viewpoints, but yet they were able to get together and change the world, and still controlling the world, still having generational wealth that they've already had for hundreds of years. So when we talk about Minister Farrakhan dismissing Dr. Sebi, I don't believe that should be the case. I do not. I think that the powers that exist in our black community should be protected, acknowledged, protected. Whatever contribution they have made into society should be noted, and how can I say, at any given point that it can be helpful to anybody, it should be used. It should, a person, what I'm saying is, even if a person doesn't agree, say Farrakhan doesn't agree with Dr. Sebi, but Dr. Sebi's advice could be beneficial to someone, and Farrakhan knows that Dr. Sebi's advice could be beneficial to someone, then Dr. Farrakhan should refer them to Dr. Sebi, even though he don't agree with him. But he knows. How do we know? For Farrakhan to dismiss Dr. Sebi, he had to have did some studies or research on him. You can't just dismiss somebody blindly. He should know a considerable amount of information about Dr. Sebi before he could dismiss him. So with Farrakhan having a level of success that he has, I don't just think he spoke, just haphazardly. It was a reason that he may have dismissed him. So whatever reason he dismissed Dr. Sebi may be the reason that he doesn't refer Dr. Sebi to somebody, or Dr. Sebi's advice or findings to somebody. But then it's not what I'm saying. Another person can come along, and what they need help with, Farrakhan said, well, Dr. Sebi was right about that. Let me refer him to Dr. Sebi. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of collaborations that these people did. These guests did amongst each other. And that's what I'm saying. The black community, what you're saying, just totally dismiss them. That's what we do, and we need to stop it. Period. Point blank, it needs to stop. All the arguing, the cussing, the fussing, the trying. It's people. Another thing that it seems like I've been witnessing for a while when it comes to the black, I guess, conscious community, however it's labeled, is that everybody wants, like myself, egotistical. I'm gonna be all over the place. This is an Aquarius Rant. Is that we all have our areas of interest that we dive off into. Like, it's a guy, I guess he's still here on YouTube, I don't know. He's pretty radical. His name is Sarah Sunseti or something like that. And he's a historian. And I think he researches and reports on Africans and the descendants of Africans and different things like that. That's where he's passionate about. That's where he spends all his time, energy, and effort. So he's knowledgeable in that field. I know he's not the only one. I know at some point in time, even I think young Pharaoh was also dealing in that genre, I'll say. But that's not, how to say, young Pharaoh's primary genre that he persists in. But yet young Pharaoh and Mr. Seti, they can work interactively and exchange and be respectful of each other. I've never seen any discord between them. That's the kind of relationship I'm saying we all need to have with each other. Like, I'm not the only black tarot reader or astrologer. I should be able to sit with those that share in my craft, and even if people don't agree with me, be able to hear me out. Just hear me out. You ain't got to make no comments. Just hear me out, learn from me, and we go ahead and I learn from you, and then we have conferences, and then the day comes that we have to collab. We have to come together and have our banquet, and we have a issue that we need to resolve for our community. This is just an example, the black community. Well, what can we, the professionals in tarot and astrology, bring to the table? Or better yet, like I was saying, one of the gentlemen in that painting I referred you to, the structure of existence. See, tarot and astrology, we talking about the structure of existence, God, and spirituality. What can we bring to the table? Henry Ford had his specialists bring it to the table in that field. So what can I and those like me bring to the table if we collaborate? You know what I'm saying? Because we learn from different perspectives. And so what am I saying? Black people got to learn how to work together. Period. Period. Our egos get in the way. And right now, we're under attack. Anywho, let me start, because I'll be fussing all night. Displays of wealth. Check young Pharaoh on Farrakhan's speech. Okay, I will. George said, I used to talk about Tesla a lot in the 1990s. You knew about him in the 90s? It's 2000. Nope, I didn't. I learned about Tesla in 2000s. Never heard. I mean, I guess I would have. I can't go back in time. Wish I could go back in time. It just didn't stand out to me. Maybe I heard about him first in the '80s. Did you on a national public radio show called KCRW? Wow, that's amazing. What stick with you and what don't. Oh, where I go? I get all the way down there. Okay. The U.S. government seized Nikola Tesla's assets when he passed. Right, jumped right in, but they couldn't have just did that if he had some descendants or something. Nikola Tesla said his ideas came from extraterrestrial origins. That's why they wanted them. I remember I used to tell my mother that I was an alien that crash landed in the desert a long time ago. Really? That probably some truth to it, George, too. You know that, right? You know it's some truth to it. You just been simulated into this matrix. Ados is voting Democratic down ballot. Really? Ados is voting Democratic down ballot. I cash app you. Oh, did you? Thank you. You say, to your point on those folks uniting, that's what ADOS is trying to do regarding reparations. Black folks can agree. We are old. That's my thing. And that's what I'm kind of confused on. I learned about ADOS from you, Yanni. And I'm all on board. I am all on board. I don't understand what the issue is. Where's the regional office here in Detroit? You know what I'm saying? We have to have a regional office. We have to feel like we belong. That's what I know about myself. We have to feel like we belong, that we can tap into somebody. What does ADOS need from me? I have no idea, because I want my reparations. I don't want no 40 acres and a mule. What I want is the cash equivalent plus the accurate interest over time, since it was promised to me. That's what I want. But however ADOS want to word it, that's fine. But what does ADOS need from me in order for them to go ahead and move and be successful? I'm looking for, literally, I am looking for somebody, a leader, a black leader with integrity. Let's do this. Why am I looking for somebody? Because I, as a black woman, am overlooked. I don't carry enough power. I don't carry enough influence. Because trust and believe, with my ego, if I could, I'd step out. I would make a change. Most definitely I would. But don't nobody listen to me. Y'all mean, don't nobody listen to me. I'm ready. What do they need from me? Can we just agree on one thing and just do it? Where are all the black attorneys? They scared to come together. All of these black attorneys come together. They scared. All of the black doctors, like Farrakhan saying, come together. Brilliant minds. What they call when you bring together? I hate when I can't think of words. Pull your most valuable resource on this earth, which is your mind. You have went in. We can say, infiltrated this structure. You have become proficient in some field of knowledge, and you're not gonna have no real power until you pull it with somebody else that's equally as advanced as yourself. Oh man. And then the lay men and lay women, especially in the black culture. Oh my God, I'm gonna talk about it when I get. I've been mad all day. I've been walking around this piece cussing and fussing. We got to do better. We have got to do better. Because like Nick Cannon, Monique, Bill Cosby, who has had a rep. Let me stop. I ain't say much. I was on here. I ain't say much about Bill Cosby. But I was so disappointed in our people. Bill Cosby has had a lifelong public role. He has kept his reputation clean. Now he a man. So in this, I don't think it's about color. He a man. So he probably got his indiscrepancies or whatever. What's his wife name? Camille or something like that. That's between him and her. Ain't no way Some folks should be able to come up 20, 30 years later and make no accusations against him without no evidence. That's just hearsay. But we let those powers that be do that to that man. And all he did was give us good. You know, and in his golden years, it's crazy. It's crazy what they can do to our culture and our people. Now, Monique came out as a heavy black woman and said, I'm not getting paid my worth, my value. And everybody ignored her. How dare we? We got to do better. We are preoccupied with bull crap, Jordans and stuff. It's great Jordan has businesses and stuff, but we got lines wrapped around the store during the pandemic for some gym shoes. But we not supporting our black influential people. People that's came up through the system. People that knows the intricate deep in and out details of these different corporations and whatever you call it, different structures and things. You know, we don't back them up. That's crazy. And now we got Nick Cannon standing up, talking the truth, and then they get to chastise him. How do they get to chastise us for speaking the truth? I talked about how our freedom of speech was going to be trampled on again. Don't nobody listen to me. I'm mad. I'm trying to calm down. I'm trying right to calm down. What good will it do? Don't nobody listen to me. Are we going to let them destroy this young man? Like, you done heard of the story of going from rags to riches. Could you imagine that nigga going from riches to rags? Either we going to support these people, otherwise they going to lose all their livelihood and all their security for trying to stand up for truth. You know, to wake people up. I can't wake up. How many people I got? They say I got 7,500 people subscribed to my channel. I had 7,500 people subscribed to my channel for 5 damn years, and I'm running backwards. So and how many people really view my videos? 50 to 100. So I'm not influencing nobody, not too many people at all. Those people have social outreach. Those people have social pull. And if we don't stand behind them powers that be, that's handed down their power for generations, is going to destroy these people's life, just like they destroyed Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson. Like the Kwame thing, I was like, people, hey, Kwame, we got another black man for Detroit. He pimped out. He cool. Look at his earrings. You know, he doing it like Young, Coleman Young. Yeah, he was doing it. Another black man. Black men do what black men do. His wife know what she had, and she dealt with it like we deal with it, like women just deal with it. But he got all of these accusations against him. Why? And as soon as they went to take Kwame down, I would be out and about hearing people talk about the man like a dog. And I'm sitting here looking like, did y'all not just see Detroit a few years ago? It wasn't a plant, a bush, a flower, a rose bush, or nothing. Wasn't no water flowing, wasn't nothing, no entertainment, nothing. Since he came in, the city started being revitalized, renewed, slowly but surely. It was black businesses starting and contractors starting to finally get contracts. And y'all don't see the setup. Then it was a man, I can't remember his name, Davison, came on TV and said he was about to blow the whistle on something about Detroit right after sometime doing that Kwame stuff. Shit, they went to break, and when they came back, that man was in jail doing, I think, 2.5 to 5 years for some embezzling from Highland Park or something, the school system. Oh, they found something on him. And he said, yeah, I did it. He was a young black man, made a mistake. It doesn't mean that he didn't have no facts or inside information on the corruption that was going on in the city. They made sure that didn't come out. They made sure that didn't come out. They shut everybody up to make sure that this city was taken. And because Detroit is a gold mine. It's right here off the Detroit River. This is a gold mine. Remember, wealth is not money. Wealth is natural resources. Right here off the Detroit River is salt mines, furs, Dietrich furs and all them. Salt mines, furs, oh God, Jesus. Coal, it's so many things right here off the Detroit River where I can go down to the river and look up and down and see some of the stuff. You know, and just the water itself, the fish, everything. That's money. That's wealth. And that's what these generationally generationally, can I think of a word when I need it? Never. Wealthy, generationally wealthy and affluent people know. That took so long. I don't know if I made that make sense. I'm just cussing and fussing. This is an Aquarius rant. I get mad. I get so heated. And could you imagine sitting here my whole life and never been able to do anything? Never been able to do, but just sustain my life. Never been able to do anything. Just sit here and learn as much as I can. Try to stay up on as much as I can. But level I'm at now is just layer after layer of unresolved issues, especially in the black community. And basically I can only speak about Detroit, but there are a lot of black communities, layer after layer of unresolved issues, systematic like oppression, and just it's so much going on. No one person can do it if the intelligent blacks do not come together and stand up and stop being scared that they're going to. I don't even think we really afraid of losing our wealth because we ain't got none. I don't think people afraid of losing their red bottoms or their Mercedes. People afraid they ain't gonna have no money to eat with by the time the powers that be get done with them. That's what they afraid of. Straight proud. Anywho, I've been cussing and fussing. Let me go ahead. They are often used to distract us from becoming more intellectual. I'm trying to go up because I can't. How I get all the way down here? Dr. Sabi said your American black leaders don't care about you. We out for our own selves. That's all I've been able to do. Everybody I know, that's all they've been able to do. Because people say we don't need a leader. Yes, we do. Your leader is a representative of you. Your leader is a physical manifestation of you. He's like he or she would be like a focal point of our intentions. We have leaders, but again, they are a manifestation of who we are. So our leaders are like, the reason why they got that crazy guy Kanye West out here is because he's a representative of us. Little Kim is a representative of us. You know what I'm saying? And Little Kim has been having issues for the longest about her color. You know, so it shows our weaknesses, our limitations, our psychological wounds. This is what these people represent. They are our representatives. They are our leaders. They are our spokesperson. The ones that stand up, that look decent, that do have a common sense, like Nick Cannon, Monique, Bill Cosby, they destroy. But you don't see them destroying Little Kim. You don't see them destroying Kanye West and Lil Wayne. You don't know, or what's the other ones? The Gucci Mane, DMX. You don't see them destroying them. You don't see them destroying them at all. Not at all. I'm supposed to be reading. Who could be a leader for the black community? When I say black, I'm not just talking about, I guess, descendants of slaves. I'm talking about black people, period. If you got what they call melanin, everybody call it melanin. Who can be a representative for us? Who will we protect? Who, when we look at them, we say, that's me. I'm intelligent. I'm proud. I'm good looking. I'm proficient. You know, who can we look at that represents us? You know what I'm saying? See, me, when I look at Nick Cannon, I see me. I see me as a strong black person that's become conscious. You know, he's male, I'm female. He's skinny, I'm fat. It's about this brother has gotten consciousness. He's growing in the consciousness. He wants to be aware. He wants to be awake. He wants to be helpful to his community. That's how he represents me or reflects me, who I am on a deeper level. You know, Bill Cosby always cared about the next generation. That reflects me, you know. And so I'm saying, who can be a representative for us, you know, that we will defend with our lives, that we will support with our money, if it ain't nothing but a dollar. I've been on this YouTube channel, I don't know, y'all, what, 5 years or so? I don't know, I lost track. But I didn't watch people fund fools. Fun. But we won't put our money. You mean tell me it's no, I want to cuss. I want to show y'all who I am so bad. So bad. We ain't got nobody we can trust as a treasurer. I'm sure Ford had a treasurer. I'm sure they pulled their resources. It was somebody that they could trust. You mean to tell me we can't trust not one black person? That I don't know what the criteria is to be a treasurer, but an accountant ability, I'm sure. You can't trust nobody. We're not willing to trust somebody that, or we're not willing to invest our money in accomplishing something. If you ain't got nothing but a dollar, send your dollar. You better send it now before they go cashless, incognito. Send your dollar incognito. If $1 million of us sent a dollar in, we would have some funds to work with. Buy something, one thing, get it off the ground, fund it, back it. What we gonna do? I want to cuss so bad. Oh man, they gonna put me off of YouTube if I show y'all who I really am. Anyway, okay, y'all, I'm about to try to read, because I ain't even started on what I've been sitting up here contemplating on, meditating on, and researching on. That the black leaders don't care. Watch the Brock show. Can't think of his full name of the show. Keep in mind, distractionists that looks like us are sent to keep us stuck. That's another thing. Our consciousness, our comprehension, our consciousness, our discernment got to get up. We got to get it up. You right. Hear me out. Hear me out. Request sincerity. They're right. We are owed. U.S. government, cut the check. Cut it now. I need my money. We discuss these celebrities are the benefit or harm they have our community. They are often used to distract us from becoming more intelligent. Yeah. You gotta, and like Kanye West, I don't know why I can't pronounce his name, whoever he is. He's like, to me, it's almost seems like now he's supposed to be running for president or some insane crap. If that man, if we was to vote and they put that fool in there, you know, he's just a maturing candidate, somebody that they can push the buttons to hype the people up. He ain't got nothing to bring to the table. All he can do is, like each of us are doing, just try to maintain his own little silly life. That's just too much. He is the wrong spokesperson. I mean, like I was saying, that picture, that painting I was referring y'all to, Ford had Hoover there, I think it was. President Hoover there. And I think it's secretary. I don't know, but I think it was President Hoover there. And I'm saying that Hoover wasn't sitting next to no Kanye West. Like, what's his name is now? What his name is? What's our president's name? Man, oh man. I may have to start cussing the baby keep cadence, because I'm just mad. What's this fool? Donald Trump. Old people problems. Donald Trump is sitting next to, got Kanye West sitting next to him. Well, Hoover had Ford sitting next to him. Hoover had Ford. You see, are you getting what I'm saying? Hoover didn't have no fool sitting next to him. Hoover wasn't rubbing elbows with people with mental instabilities. No, Hoover was rubbing elbows with Thomas Edison He was rubbing elbows with Ford, and they industrialized the world. They took it over. But we have, as a representative for black folks, Mr. K.I. West. Can somebody please stand up? Who got some intelligence here that is not whitewashed? You know, for real. You know what I'm saying? I love all people, but my black community, we got to get it together. We must be represented, and we must be represented well. I don't know. This is too much. I wish I had the power, and I was very articulate. Had some social cool, but unfortunately, you gotta watch Yvette on what Nice Cannon did. What? Oh, Nick Cannon did. Hi, Mermaid Wishes. How are you? George is yes, Yvette Carnell Ados has a LGBT agenda where black folks get nothing again, but LGBT does. At least they stick together, they work together. They not scared of each other. So, hey, get it. Dr. Prison says ADOS does not have leaders. Across the nation, communities are getting together to see what they can do. Right, we have, it's no way that ADOS or the like, anything like it, can really come into full bloom and be effective without there being small national, communities throughout the nation, all reporting back to ADOS or being in the name of ADOS. It's no way. It's no way. We can study politics on our own. We can, but you got to remember people's level of comprehension. I'm not a dumb chick, and I'm not brilliant either. I have so many difficulties because, again, when I study each candidate, I go into layers. I want to know who the person is. I don't know who these people are. I only know the people that I know, and most of them ain't right. Most of them ain't right physically and spiritually. And so I want to go down into the depths of these people. And the research that I be doing on these people is overwhelming. That's what I'm saying. In order for us to know, we can't look at these people from a shallow perspective. We need to go deep. Who are their ancestors? What is their genealogy? What worldviews have they had? In their family historically. Because they usually keep it in the family. So we need to know these things. We can study practice our own, which they left out on purpose. We got Vet and Tone. Tone, we must see. We gotta see them. We gotta build something. I just don't know. Foundational Black Americans. That's what Tariq Nasheed said. I heard that name. Says we should call ourselves Foundational Black Americans. That's a nice one. They believe in reparations. We agree on reparations. I want mine. Y'all sound like y'all want y'all's. That's all. Now, what we got to do now? See, that's the area. I'm not proficient in that area at all. What do we need to do now? Where are the experts? Where are the brilliant minds? Let's sit up and write this proposal out. Who's well spoken and got some common sense? Present themselves well, and let's go on, take it to the president or whoever we take it to. Let's go. I'm ready. Put it all on the table. And we got to protect them with our lives. Because if we come together like that, it's going to be a problem, y'all. And none has spoken up for reparations. Good night, Dr. Princess. Thank you for dropping by. These trashy entertainers are not our leaders. That's not their job. No, it's not their job, but they're still affluent. Nor do they know what they're talking about. Nope. The Jews have some nerve to scold Nick Cannon. That's what I'm saying. They scolded him about prejudice. Meanwhile, there is a rabbi that's calling black people monkeys. That's another thing we need to make them stop. We need to, what would Aretha Franklin say? We need some RSPCT. We're going to make these people give us respect. But I see something. I see a whole lot coming. And I'm going to talk about that some other time. It's a whole lot coming. They're going to bend our arms behind our back. Trust and believe. Matter of fact, they said we resemble Lord. They said that about Michelle Obama. We should protect Yvette and Antonio more. No one else is leading us to solutions, monetary law, and land. That if that's what it is, that's what it is. That's the only thing I say about Yvette and Antonio Moore. I think the black community, and I say black community, I'm talking about broadly, internationally. I'm talking about black people, any melanated person. I think that the first step would be to, and you may have already done this, I don't know, people may have already done it, is we have to research. They're no different. What do you call it? Research, not research. Yeah, we have to, a clearance has to be performed for Yvette and Antonio. Are they, I see that they are the founders, I think, of ADOS or something. Is that who they are? Because they names sound familiar too. They could be they're founders. They, have taken the steps to get this started. But there has to be a clearance. People have to be assured that they can trust them. They need, what do you call it, a council. And on that council, they need a treasurer that can be trusted. And let's ride it. Let's do this. Are they well-spoken enough to sit with kings and queens? You know what I'm saying? So Yvette and Antonio, I don't know them, but if they're not cultivated enough to sit with kings and queens and to negotiate and do those kind of things, then we need a representative that can. Not pushing them to the side. They be at the forefront of everything. Helping to facilitate everything that takes place. Let's go. I'm ready. We got these black people with some like military training and power. That's not. We can't let that fade out. We need to hold on to that and build upon that. Jews showed their racism when Nick Cannon said that the Hebrew people were black, and they called that anti-Semitism. That's closet racism right there. How dare you say they're black? George, they hide in your comments, so based on everybody being so sensitive, I'm not showing it. I am reading it. In Israel, they are treating the Ethiopian Jews like dogs, calling him the N-word, saying they don't want them there, and they're sterilizing the Ethiopian women to keep the black population down. This world has gone insane. That's a lie on ADOS. Tariq is a scammer, no agenda, just titles. See? Tariq has to be a scammer. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to get nowhere. We're not going to get nowhere. Who is on the same level as Tariq? Who's on the... See, we got to know. We got to get in our lane and ride our lane and get in your square, or I'm going to say lane, and hold your lane so other people on your same level can join and work with you. We can't just keep saying we are scammers. I want to see... Oh, I'm scared to do it. How to spell his name? Tariq. I want to see. There you go. Let me see. Y'all want to see who this person is. They knocked me off of YouTube. They've been dogging me for a long time, so let's see if it'll let me do it. Find out who this person is. I guess my computer is not going to allow me to do that. A film producer? And I will say this, just from my perspective in life, a lot of black people do have a lot of bad tendencies. We need to get that together. Our integrity, but we've been socially engineered. Oh no, I don't remember seeing him. I ain't never seen this Tariq Nashad person. Well, can I get back to where I was? I hope I didn't close something up wrong. I just got away from my computer, y'all. This is the what, third or fourth laptop in 3 years or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I ain't never seen Tariq Nashad nor heard him speak or anything. Hi, DJ. Dow J. How are you? I'm gonna say DJ. When we respect ourselves, it's amazing. Our others will treat us right. We gotta respect ourselves. I'm gonna go into that in a minute. Yeah, you play at AC's bringing something to the table. We all have to bring something to the table. That's what we missing. We all have to bring something to our table, on our level. On our level. That's what I'm saying. People's ego, especially black people's ego, especially black men's ego, are incredible. Incredible. And I understand everybody wants to be important, but you have to be important in your own right. I am so important. I'm telling you, people perceive me as arrogant. I'm not arrogant, but I am special. I'm important in my own right. You're not going to walk on me. I am a humanitarian by nature. You're not going to walk on me. You're going to give me my respect. If you don't give it to me, then I'll demand it if necessary. We can do it, like I just say, we can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. I prefer the easy way because I'm old and tired, but I'm just saying that we need to understand we are all important. And like me, I don't even exist now. But I will say, I'll probably never be a president, that kind of spokesperson or leader. I probably never be, I don't know, a film star or something like that. Somebody so affluent. But to myself, I am the leader. I am the ruler. I am the overseer. I am the caretaker of me. I'm very important. And then other than myself, I'm important to my family and my children and our livelihood and them being educated. You know, they half time don't listen to me like nobody else does. But when, like I said, my daughter came, who we gonna vote for? You know, or, you know, which information do you have on, you know, the election, mama? And I'm not prepared. But you see what I'm saying, how they lean against me, lean upon me for important, you know, things like the subject matter of the election. Even though they don't listen to me about nothing else, but I do have some influence upon them. So that's what I'm saying. We all have to. We're all important in our own right. Sometimes it's just ourselves. Others, it you know, branches out as our family. Sometimes we're more influential in you know, expands out to our community, and then in our city, and in our state. You gotta know your lane to stay in. You are equally as important as a king or queen. You know what I'm saying? But in your own right. Accept that, appreciate it, and ride it. Ride it till the wheels fall off. So what am I saying it for? This Tariq Nashad probably got a real big ego and wants to be important just like a lot of other people, when it's so easy to just stay in your lane and influence those that you can influence. And when you influence them with the right information. Collaborate with those on your level. You know what I'm saying? In your field of interest, you know, or that you become proficient in. And this is another thing. If a person is not proficient, I gotta say this. You have to have, if you don't have an area of knowledge that you're expert in, then you need to sit down. Away from the big boys and the big girls. Ride your lane. Be important in your own right. When we start talking about the issues like the black community is dealing with and facing, we need our most brilliant minds at the table. While those brilliant minds are sitting at the table, bringing their expertise and, you know, collaborating with other, then there's the next level. We have to learn how to, what's it called? No, I'm not sure. There's they call it a stratification system. I don't know if that's the right word, a stratification system. Just like I talk about the pyramid. That's what we need in the black community. And we have to honor that structure. The most powerful minds have to be at the top. And it's not saying that you as an individual person are not important. It is not that you're not going to be heard or that you won't have a role to play, you know, in our overall movement. I guess I could say movement, you know. It might be a day that somebody comes to you out of the community and asks for your expertise or your know-how or your talent on your level. But you still got to stay in your lane. You still have to stay in your lane and honor it and be proud of it. You know, I don't know how to, it's too many kings in the black community. It's too many. I don't know how to say that. Say it. I mean, it's just like, I guess I can compare globally the different nations, and not kings is king for each nation, I guess I could say. Each of those kings brings something to the table. Each one of those kings have to respect the next king because they equally as powerful. They equally have the same, like, or similar military. So if they don't respect each other, they just be fighting all the time, destroying each other, getting nothing done. So they know how to, they have, what is it called, camaraderie. You know, they are cultural to each other, and they engage each other and entertain, you know, listen to each other, and they negotiate. You know, that's what another thing the black community is missing. I don't even know if that made sense. I'm just trying to Aquarius Rant. That's what I do. Anyway, I'm going to eventually, well, I'm already been on 2 hours just talking. 3 narcissists all day. Narcissist, you're right, ride your lane, your lane. Entertainers, stay in your lane. Entertainers, stay in your lane, and do works that promote a healthy perspective of your people that you represent. Stay in your lane. Entertainers, right? And you know, if an entertainer by chance has the intellectual capacity to cross over genres, like in the politics, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't know, you know, I don't know if that's the case, but he's just an example, then that's okay. When I say that, I'm talking about they are well learned, well spoken, cultivated, you know, knowledgeable, those kind of things. But if you don't, stay your lane. You're just doing music. Do your music. We love you. Ride the king. You know what I'm saying? But we can't respect people that cross over and they don't have the credentials to cross over. We can't let them do that. K.I. West, the way it appears. We can't let them do that. Sit the hell down because they misrepresenting us. Enough is a freaking fragging enough. Okay, enough is enough. Hey Nancy, I recently just heard about Cannon's remarks. I heard he mentioned how whites are the real savages and are the further thing from being human. Was there some truth to that? To tell you the truth, Dow J, I never heard Nick Cannon's remarks at all. I never watched the show, whatever he was on. I didn't just heard all the, you know, talk behind it. So I can't even make no comment on it because I don't know. I just know that he's been chastised for what I've heard, you know, just with it in gossip, that he was speaking truth. What he was speaking about, like, again, I think they said he was, Nick Cannon is into, what is it called? The nationality of Moors or something? I don't even know. See, that's how, I don't know. And speaking truth, you know, based on historical findings, I guess, you know, I don't know the history personally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know none of the history. I don't know the comments he made. I don't know anything. I just know that he's being scalded. And what I don't like, the part that I don't like, is that we don't have the freedom to say what we know. You know, what we know. Whatever it is he talked about, I don't even know, is that he didn't have the freedom. And how they could just fire him. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Oh, Orlando Jones. This is Orlando Jones. Look at they messing my video up. Orlando Jones, the guy that played the character Nancy on American Gods. How they say he was too real. You know, and maybe was his character would provoke a revolt or something, or a mind change in people, you know, like to revolt. They fired him. You know what I'm saying? For mastering his craft. They asked him to play that role, and he played it, and they fired him. So we don't get no representation. Not historical representation, as Orlando Jones was offering as Nancy, you know, or but they could. You see that the one with Nebula, or was she Queen, the black lady in American Gods, Nebula or something. Now she was opening her legs. She was the Universal, whatever, and doing everything. You know, it was all sexual. Then they had her looking like a crackhead. They didn't get rid of that character that I know of. You know, they didn't fire her. You know, and that was a negative representation of black people. They kept her. Very intriguing character. But it was a negative representation of black people. Especially when they had her down and out sitting in a doorway looking like a crackhead. Forgotten by the people. You know, that particular guy. But Nancy, Orlando Jones, I think is his name. I think it's Orlando Jones, was dressed, and he was unapologetic, poetic. You know, when he did his scripts, you know, and he did it with power and with confidence. He was real. You know, he was real. But they got rid of him because he was a very positive representation of black people, especially black men. A black man that's well spoken, poetic, we could say warrior like. They got rid of that. You know what I'm saying? We got to look at these things now. Enough is enough. This is enough. Enough is enough. That's all I know for sure. Oh, got it, Nancy. Yeah, I know he is a big fan of Farrakhan as well. So, Nick Cannon is a big fan of Farrakhan. Is that what we talking about? I know y'all read my chat so slow. Let's see. I do it. That's that they should get together, even though they have opposite opinions. Even though they got opposite opinions, get together. Listen, shut the fuck. Y'all, give me 15 minutes to just cuss. I need to vent. I'm about to cuss. They about to put me off here. And Cynthia G do not get along, but people like that, it should inform. And you know what? When they come on public forums, these people that collaborate, they should come on publicly after they done had their private discussions and find out what topics they're gonna talk about publicly. And they should have been in what they call it, mashed out, everything, hashed out all the kinks. You know, and only represent well. Rather than don't argue, don't get on here. You know, I put like this. You know a leader by their ways. You would know leaders by their ways. Leaders by their ways identifies themselves as Jamaican, etc., and they only focus on their group. Now we have ADOS, and we are focusing on ourselves, only regarding government resources. We have so much power if we could just agree on one thing, just one thing, and we all pull our resources in. I hear what you're saying, Yanni, that people are these different groups, and they're dealing with like Jamaicans and Jamaican Nigerians, and they only focus on their group. That's weakening us. That's weakening us. If we want to make a sudden major impact in this world, all you have to do is be black. What's the one thing we all gonna ask for, and what are we all gonna invest our energy in, and make it happen? Make it happen. Do you know that would be like the Trojan horse to this world? That'd be a Trojan horse. You know? In the Bible, talk about the walls of Jericho coming down. Walls of Jericho will come down. Walls of Jericho will come down, baby. Cancel culture. It says, oh, I see what you mean, Nancy. Yeah, cancel culture is killing everything. Nick Cannon is a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, Hebrew Israelite. What Nick said how could black people be anti-Semitic if they were actually the actual Jews? Is that what it is? Or black and that's anti-Semitic, saying that the first Jews were black? Really? So can't believe. I thought, what was his name? Sammy Davis Jr. was a Jew, right? Wasn't he a Jew too? What if adults refuse to play negative roles? Right, no negative roles. Period. Like even I'm giving you an example. And I got to do some research, so I know I'm saying this prematurely. But back to that painting I was referring y'all to, that I commemorated the Thomas Edison, right? We know them 262 plus guests is just like everybody else. Back then, they was a bunch of assholes, drug addicts, some of them, not all of them, popping pills. You know, they came over to Betty Ford Clinic. You know what I'm saying? So, some of them Ford kids, we know that they had overindulgent natures too, some of them. And they were, some of them were horrible people, even though they may have coined themselves or labeled themselves philanthropists. You know what I'm saying? They still could be racist. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is these people probably had ugly qualities too, but you didn't hear no. I read a news article from when one of the Ford kids died. I don't know which Ford it was. One of their kids died. They said that he had a stroke on his yacht. And all I could see when I was reading the article, and even though I don't know what happened to this person, say he just had a massive heart attack and died on his yacht. I saw this person sitting up snorting and having a massive heart attack out in the Detroit River somewhere. I don't know if that's a story or not, but that's my wild imagination running with me. My point is saying is that whatever really led up to this person, and how can I say this particular Ford child, when they got older, did not accomplish a lot. It was a lot of big breaks or time periods in their life that they wasn't doing nothing. It seemed like, when I was researching them, I'm gonna say this, by him being a part of the Ford family, they talked about him being over the Ford, part of the Ford company, and but these were things that just because he was born in that family, he had access to. So when they talking about this particular Ford child, I can't remember which one it was, they never said nothing bad about him. But why is it that when I read the rest of the Ford family, what they call biography or whatever it is, that they did this year, I mean, it was a whole timeline of their accomplishments, their achievements, etc., never stopped. But when it got to this one Ford person that died, I think 58 or 59 years old, it was here, there, which suggests he was into some shenanigans. That's what it suggested to me. He was into some shenanigans. And his death, he was performing shenanigans. That probably ran him. But that's just my wild imagination running. But my point was, when I saw those discrepancies, those differences, I started trying to search and find out about his life in detail and his death. Couldn't find nothing. Everything I read praised this man, talked about how this man did this and he did that. Was the same things that somebody did over and over again. No matter what I ran into on the internet. Oh, he did this and he was the child of 4. Not one bad thing. It was no additional information. It still stuck to a certain set of roles he played in this world or accomplishments he had. They didn't defer, but they just talked about him, praised him. But I know dang on well it was something going on. It was some shenanigans, but they never bad-mouthed him. I couldn't find no information on him that said anything nasty. You know what I'm saying? And so we got to learn how to do that in the black community. We got to learn how to do that. Okay. I forgot I was going to say I talk so doggone much, y'all. All black people in America do not deserve those reparations. Their lineage isn't here. That's another thing, Yanni. That's what I've been thinking of. Like, how many people like me, financially, I've never been in a position to trace my lineage. I wasn't able to invest that kind of money or time. However, I do have family members that have had the resources to do so. And my family was only able to trace so far back. And I heard, I don't know, that the reason why they were only able to trace my family lineage so far back is because our family's last name changed quite often for different reasons. You know, on a run, criminals, whatever the case may be, marriage kept changing. And so I guess it made the trail go cold. So, how do I, you know, legitimately say that I'm ADOS? How? You know what I'm saying? Again, my family, some family members have attempted to go back as far as they can. I do not believe they were able to go back so far that they were able to find, I'll say, our origins. You know, to be able to say, link me and my family line to Africa. I don't think they were able to go back. Do the Alex Haley go all the way back there? Nope, wasn't able to do that. Not to my knowledge. So how then can I say I'm ADOS? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of problem we dealing with here. We are dealing with that here. And then who has the money? That's what I'm saying. But to me, it has to be just black people. Because we came from everywhere. We have been everywhere. We've been taken everywhere. We done traveled everywhere. We done intermingled. We done did everything. So it just had to be black people. Because if it's just descendants of slaves, how many of us can prove that we've been descendants of slaves? Because when we start talking about for real live political moves and I don't know, agendas or whatever, if we get that on the books, reparations for descendants or ancestors of slaves or whatever, you know, you got to prove you an ancestor of a slave, ain't you? If that's the terminology. If that's the legal terminology that's put on the books, then you got to show that you a slave, a descendant of a slave, aren't you? And how many of us would miss out on those reparations because we can't trace our family line back that far? Do you get what I'm saying? Am I making that make sense? That's a big dilemma. That's a big dilemma. Now all black people of other cultures support ADOS. I get that. We do think so. We, like you said, we are all called black, and we're not really black. Some of y'all messages, YouTube is not allowing to show. Again, everything is so sensitive. Everybody's so sensitive now. I'm not even gonna show them. I'm gonna read them, mumble them, and because I don't need nothing else. I won't. If they do one more thing to my channel, it's over. And see, these people who work together have been trained since childhood. They've been trained since childhood. They intermarry. Like even, you know, I don't just everyday life, we don't think of how deep these people's, when I say these people, I'm talking about like the people I referred you to in that painting by Mr. Bacon. We don't think just how important it is, our associations are. Like, when I was doing some research on some of those guests family members were like a part of the lawnmower services. I can't think of the lawnmower services, not services, but lawnmower machinery, that went back for hundreds of years, early cropping. And what ended up happening, like one, I can't remember the name of the lawnmower machinist, whatever it's called. That company design was so bad that their name had gotten a really bad reputation. They changed the name of their company when it was handed down. And then something else happened and they changed the name of the company again. So that's what I'm saying. Many of these corporations have been in business. Like sometimes you read, be like, oh, such and such been in business 100, 150 years. Oh no, they were in business hundreds of years before that. They were just under other names, you know, during another time period. Like for instance, like Sears and Roebuck. They were out. They've been known since what, the early 1900s or something. They very well, I don't know if this is the case because I can't keep all the information in my head. This is just my wild imagination. I'm trying to give you an example. That company may be been under another name for like 100 years before that, and then another name for 100 years of that, and it's been handed down from generation to generation in the same family line. That's what them people had going on in that painting, and they still do. Like I said in another video, we don't even know who these people, millennials, are. We don't even know who they are. So we don't even know what they into. Google Docs offline has crashed. This is what do Google Docs have to do with me? Well, oh, I'm frozen. Okay. It shows that I'm still live. Let's see. Back. Okay. Well, it shows I'm at the end of chat finally. It shows that I'm still live, but everything is frozen from my side. Of course. Of course. What time is it? Oh, it's only 12:30. Oh, the night is young. The night is young. So, I don't know if you can hear me or if you cannot hear me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little break, bathroom break, and then I'm come back with a part 2. Messages are getting erased. LOL study with us on Monday. Okay, very good. Thank you for the invite. So hopefully you can hear me. If you have nothing else to do, I'm gonna take a bathroom break, and I'm gonna come back because they froze my chat. I visited somebody else's chat the other day. They froze. As soon as they really started talking some real stuff, they froze their chat. And so I guess they did that to me. At least they did froze it where my image don't look too bad. I done seen them freeze folks stuff and they be looking like, ooh, it's a hard day in the neighborhood. It's a difficult day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? I'll be right back.